What's up guys, Saf here on SuperSaf TV, and we've got a very special unboxing for you guys today. Here we've got the LG V40, but of course we're doing things SuperSaf style. So not only do we have one, but we've got all four colors of the V40, as well as the LG Watch W7. Big thanks to LG for sending all of these over and sponsoring this video. Let's go ahead and get them unboxed and see what they offer. Right, so we're going to start off by unboxing the V40 ThinQ. Inside the box, everything is the same, so we'll only open one of them. And we're straightway presented with the smartphone. We've got some of the key features on here. Of course, we'll be looking at all of these things in more detail. Let's put this aside for just a second. So inside the box, as well as the device, you get some paperwork. There's a SIM card ejector tool. There's a little cloth as well, an LG branded cloth, which is a nice touch. Then we've got the fast charging power brick, so fast charging is supported. And the V40 ThinQ also has wireless charging, which is nice. We've got a USB Type A to USB Type C cable, and then we get some earphones. Now you'll notice that these are 3.5mm earphones, and that is because the V40 ThinQ does have a 3.5mm jack, something we're seeing really little of these days. And this is a braided cable as well, which is really, really nice. Right, now let's get to this device. We've got some plastic. Now the first version we've got here is the Aurora Black, but depending on the angle the light hits it, you do get this sort of blue tint, which looks really quite slick. And then we've got the Moroccan blue color, which has this sort of frosted glass back as opposed to the glossy glass that we've got on the Aurora Black version. I'm definitely digging this look. It doesn't attract fingerprints as easily as the other one. Next, we have the platinum gray, once again with this sort of frosted look, which looks very, very slick. And finally, there's the raspberry rose, which once again has this frosted glass back, which looks really, really nice. I think my favorites have to be the Moroccan blue and this raspberry rose. Very, very slick indeed. And here are all the different color options laid side by side. Which one you're able to get will vary depending on your market. Now, initially looking at the build and design, we do have a metal frame with glass panels on the front and back. Now, these back glass panels actually curve in towards the side, so they feel really nice in the hand. And the V40 ThinQ only weighs around 169 grams, which is very light compared to other devices that have a similar screen size. So if you're somebody who wants a larger display but doesn't want something too heavy, which might be a little bit uncomfortable to use, then the V40 ThinQ might be for you. We've also got IP68 Water Dust Resistance, which is great. But let's talk about one of the key features, or shall I say 5 of the key features on the V40 ThinQ, which separates it apart from pretty much any other flagship device that I've used anyway. And that's the fact that this has 5 cameras. So we've got 2 cameras at the front, and then we've got 3 cameras at the back. Each of these has a specific purpose. It's not just like one is going to be used in the background, like a monochrome sensor or something like that. No, we've got a purpose for each of these. The primary camera is 12 megapixels. It's got optical image stabilization, and it's got an f1.5 aperture, which is very wide. I believe that's the widest aperture available on a smartphone right now. Then we've got an ultra-wide 16 megapixel camera with an f1.9 aperture. This is something that I absolutely love about LG devices, and it's something that I think LG does better than anybody else when it comes to the wide-angle camera. It's so useful having that wide-angle lens when maybe you're in a small space, or if you want to really appreciate a building or landscape. Absolutely love this. But this time LG have actually gone a step further, and the third rear-facing camera is a telephoto camera, which is going to give you 2 times optical zoom. This has an f2.4 aperture. Now, you must have heard me say many, many times before that the ideal camera setup on a smartphone will be primary, a wide angle, as well as a telephoto all in one place. And LG have done this with the V40 ThinQ. I cannot wait to test this out in more detail, and definitely let me know in the comments below which SuperSaf style camera comparison you'd like me to do with the V40 ThinQ. Now, having the 3 cameras gives you lots of options. Firstly, you do have a portrait mode, so this is where you're going to be able to blur the background of your shots. You can also adjust the blur after the fact. But LG have introduced a new feature this time called triple shot, and it does what it pretty much says. You press it once and it's going to take a shot from each of the cameras. So you'll have a standard shot, an ultra wide shot, as well as a telephoto shot, all by pressing one button. And then we've got Cine Shot, which is going to allow you to take a video but then animate just part of that video, and you can get some really interesting effects with this. So those are the rear-facing cameras, but what about the dual front-facing cameras? Well, firstly, you have a primary 8 megapixel camera with an f1.8 aperture, so this should be great for your regular selfies. You've also got a portrait mode from the front-facing camera, which is going to allow you to blur the background. And then we've got a secondary front-facing camera, which is 5 megapixels, and this has a wide angle of view with an f2.2 aperture. And I think that's pretty self-explanatory, the situations where you'll use that if you want to take a group selfie, or if you want to get more of your background into a shot, maybe you're in a nice landscape or something, you're going to be able to do that with this ultra-wide selfie camera. So those are the 5 cameras. Now to view all of the images that you take on those cameras, you have a very large 6.4-inch OLED display with minimal bezels. Now you guys probably already know that I'm a fan of OLED displays. They have deep blacks, very vibrant colors, and good viewing angles. And this display has a Quad HD Plus resolution with a very high pixel density, which means details are also very sharp. Now we do have a notch here, which has the 2 front-facing cameras as well as the earpiece. And I know some of you guys don't like a notch, but that's okay because you can cover this within the software. LG call this the second screen. You can have a black bar, gray bar, or a few different options. And this means that you'll still have useful information such as your battery percentage and time, all tucked away at the top. Now let's take a look around the device. On the right-hand side, you have the power button as well as the SIM card tray. Now this tray has space for a SIM card as well as a micro SD card, so you can expand the storage on this. You get 64 gigabytes as a base, but there will be a 128 gigabyte version available to certain markets. At the bottom, we've got the USB Type-C input. There is the primary mic, and then we've got the 3.5mm jack, which does have a 32-bit Hi-Fi Quad DAC. Now, of course, if you're into your audio, that's going to be a great benefit for you. And then we've also got the Boombox Speaker. So this is a single speaker, but it uses a space inside the device as a resonance chamber to give you some really nice bass. Now this speaker can get really loud, and if you've got it on a flat hard surface like a wooden table, then it's going to use that to really amplify the sound. At the top there's a secondary mic. On the left hand side there are the volume buttons as well as a dedicated Google Assistant button, so you can press this to launch Google Assistant anytime. Pressing it twice will launch Google Lens, and pressing and holding will allow you to do the walkie-talkie commands without having to say okay every single time. I don't want to set off yours. Now at the back there is the fingerprint scanner, which works absolutely fine, and you also do have facial recognition. Now internally we do have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 processor with 6 gigabytes of RAM, so performance really shouldn't be an issue. And we've got a 3300 mAh battery inside. This is something that I'm gonna have to spend some more time with and test out. But as mentioned earlier on, you do have a fast charger included, and you can also have wireless charging, so it's nice to have those options. And that is the LG V40 ThinQ. I have to say, it's pretty impressive how LG has ticked so many boxes. We've got a big bright display. We've got 5 cameras, which cover pretty much all of the different bases that you'd need. You've got a fingerprint scanner, you've got a boombox speaker, you've got a 3.5mm jack with a 32-bit Hi-Fi Quad DAC. You've got IP68 Water Dust Resistance, a premium build and design, expandable memory, the Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 processor. The list really does go on. What do you guys think of the LG V40 ThinQ? Definitely let me know in the comments below. Let me know what other coverage you'd like me to do with the V40 ThinQ. Of course, the unboxing is not finished as yet because we do have the LG Watch W7. So let's go ahead and get this unboxed. We are firstly presented with another cloth to keep it nice and shiny. And the first thing you'll notice is the fact that it's got mechanical hands. I've not seen a smartwatch with mechanical hands before, so this will be the first that I'm trying out. I'm putting that to the side for just a second. We do get a quick start guide. There is the charging base, a USB Type A to USB Type C cable, as well as the power brick. Now taking a look at the watch, the base is stainless steel, which feels very premium. Then we've got these bands which you can change if you'd like. Let's go ahead and put it on. Now it looks really slick, as you can see. Kind of looks like any normal analog watch when it is switched off, and that is thanks to those mechanical hands. And it's running Wear OS by Google. On the right hand side, initially we've got the crown, which you can use to navigate through the different screens. And then we've got this button at the top, and if you press this button, then it's going to move the mechanical hands out of the way so you can see more on your display. And then the bottom button is going to launch Master Tools. Now this is really where the mechanical hands are going to come in use. You've got things like a stopwatch, compass, timer, barometer, and these will work with the mechanical hands. So one of my favorite features is the compass. So check this out. Now that I've got the compass on, the mechanical hands now act as the pointer for the compass, which is really quite cool. And for instance, when you've got the stopwatch, then the mechanical hands are actually going to move with the timer. Really dope. Now other benefits for the mechanical hands, of course, battery life. So you'll usually get around 2 days worth of usage with this, but the mechanical hands will carry on working as normal for a few more days. And if you do decide to use this as an analog watch for whatever reason, then it's going to carry on working for around 100 days, which is very impressive. So a very interesting take on smartwatches with this sort of hybrid design that we've got on the W7. What do you guys think of the W7? Definitely let me know in the comments below. If you want to find out more about the LG V40 ThinQ or the LG Watch W7, then I'll be dropping some links in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, do hit that thumbs up button for me. And if you haven't already, then be sure to subscribe and switch on notifications. We've got lots more content coming up on here. Thanks for watching, and thanks to LG for sponsoring this video. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV, and I'll see you next time. Now other uses for those mechanical hands